Everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at short graduation. So in our last session we looked at a graduated bob, which is more of a triangular graduation when we had everything coming more back centre. So today we're going to be doing a similar graduation technique, but we're going to be following the head shape. So this is what's deemed as a more traditional short graduation, which is following the head shape. So before I get started, I want to assess the hairline, I want to assess the hair condition, I want to check for the face shape, these kind of things. And then when I'm going in with my angle of graduation, like last week, we're going to go in with the 45 degrees. So we want our weight distribution or our weight line to kind of sit around here. Obviously, if I lift my fingers more, the weight distribution will be at a slightly higher angle. So it purely depending on what you want your end result to look like. So I've gone through and I've sectioned up my hair. Before I get started with my first section, I need to decide on how I want my graduation to look. So is it that we're doing a particularly short haircut and we want this to almost be like a scissor over comb on the very bottom? Or do I want to lift my fingers a little bit more so I've got this outline shape a little bit softer? So we obviously need to discuss with our guests first of all what they want, how they want the hair to sit. So once I've had that discussion, I'm going to come through and take my first section, and I'm going to start at 45 degrees. Come through and cross check. So this time we're looking for a more rounder shape. Repeat the same on the other side. So something to notice here is when I was working on this side, my fingers were this way because it was more comfortable to work through the head that way. When I'm on the other side, I'm going to be coming the opposite way. So obviously I am right-handed, but then I'll be working that way. So just be wary of your finger position. Your angle's the same, but it's just to make it more comfortable for you to work through the head. going to take my next section working up the head. So before I carry on, I want to make sure that my sections are even. So we're checking the mirror, and then I'm going to continue working up the head following the same angle. So from my previous section down here, that's my guide. You can see it's down here. So I'm following that up the head. So cross-checking my haircut as I'm going along to make sure it's even. Repeat the same on the other side. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping this same angle graduation throughout. So as I'm coming along here, you should be able to see my weight distribution sitting around there. So I'm going to come through and refine these sides anyway. And obviously because this is a block, it doesn't sit quite as well as it would do on a person. Come through and cross check. The same angle. Again, I'm going to come through, I'm going to cross check. So horizontal if I was to cut the hair vertically. Now I need to come through and layer the hair. So I'm going to start just in front of the crown. I can see this is where my graduation ends. So I don't really want to cut into that. So I'm going to bring that straight up and flat and cut that square across. And then following this across to the front. So take some from my last section, some from this section, sorry, some from my next section, bring that straight up, see what my guide is and cut that straight across. I continue doing this working to the front of the head. If you wanted to keep the front a bit longer, you could over direct back. Look, I'd love to do it on this style actually, but because the fringe is already in there, probably wouldn't really work as well. So and again, to cross check, I come the opposite way. That's how I cut it. Pull that up and check. Yep, so I can see that's straight. Yep, same there. Yep, and then you can see my corner that I've just built in there. So now I've got my graduation shape in there. I want to come through and refine this outline shape. So we're going to come through a section at the temple. We're going to section, so we follow the hairline around there. And then we're going to work this through. I'm going to section the same on the other side as well. So it's easier to do this now than one side at a time. So I want to get my sections even. Okay, so now I've sectioned this up. I've done the same on the other side. And then we're going to come through this way. So on a traditional, more shorter hair type, probably start more of a round graduation starting here and then working this back. Repeat the same on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to take this section down. So I've already cut this graduation in there already, so I don't need to do too much to this, but I just want to take this outline shape, make sure that's all refined. So following that round. Okay, great. Then I'm going to dry this into place. Just because this is a block, I'm leaving this like a little bit longer around here, because on the block work, it tends to kind of stick up a little bit, but I'm going to personalise this at the end, make sure that's sitting properly. Obviously this is a real person, the hair isn't this kind of texture, so it tends to sit a lot nicer around there. Same with the front. So the front obviously had quite a strong fringe had been cut in there before. So I'm going to dry this into place, see how that's sitting, and then see if I can refine this fringe around a little bit to help sort of blend into the style. Okay, so I've just done a wrap dry onto this, just to see how that's sitting through here. So you can see this is on my build up of my weight and my graduation, working into the back here. And now I'm just going to go through and cross check, make sure that's all sitting okay. Obviously again, because it is a blockhead, it's very, very straight, but it's also doesn't quite sit like human hair does. So what I'm going to probably do, just to get this to sit a bit better in the back, I'm going to come through and do a bit of scissor over comb. So scissor over comb would work in the same kind of method as a graduation, but the only difference is that you're coming through with the comb and the scissors, but exactly the same kind of angle of graduation where you're going to work up. Before I do that, I'm just going to come through and cross check just so I can make sure this is all sitting how it should be through here. To me it looks like there's a little bit too much weight around this area. Yeah, and this is where my corner is. This is where I was, this is my graduation, and that was my square flat layer here. But then I can see in this section, just because the hair is very thick and very straight, it's not quite sitting how I want it to. So I'm just going to come through and find my weight area for that corner, which I can see through here, and reduce that. So corners aren't bad, it's just that if you've got someone with very, very thick hair, you don't need it. Someone with very fine hair, you may wish to build that weight through there. So and already I can see how much softer that's sitting. Now taking that corner out, just going to work that through. Okay, so to show you how to do a scissor over comb, you can start with a this is a flat top comb, used mostly in gents, really good for clipper over comb. It's just a nice way to start off your scissor over comb. So you're going from shorter to longer, and you're scooping almost like you were if you were to do like a pair of clippers. So it's coming in, scooping out. And we're just going from shorter to longer. Cut that hair already, so I don't need to worry about my graduation, but this is just a good technique to use when you want to get it a bit shorter than your fingers will allow you to go. Just going to bring that up just because it's easier to see, better. And I can come through and refine with my smaller comb. and here's my end result. So at the end, we just went through, personalised this by just point cutting that a little bit, just to create a bit more texture into that shape. And then just because it is a blockhead, we refined it with some scissor over comb work. You could obviously also do the same if your guests wanted the hair to be quite short on the outside. Thanks for watching.